Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering uh, Beauty in Black. This is season 2, episode 4. And I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. You can also subscribe if you're new and leave your comments below. Now, let's get into this episode. All right. We start off at the club. And we got Andy, who is the driver, who is now a security guard at the club. Has this man who's approached him. His name is Giovanni. We find out that this is Delinda's son. If you did not know, now you know that Delinda is the owner of the club, meaning they put the ownership in her name while they do what they do, so that they couldn't be the Bellarys, meaning Norman and Jules and all them. Couldn't be liable for anything. So, well, since Delinda has gone on to glory, if y'all choose to believe that, to glory, he wants to get into his mother's office. He wants to see the paperwork, all that good stuff. Traxon. I'm gonna mess up that name forever. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to know his first name. But Traxon doesn't let that happen. At this point, I guess he's going to have to get some type of court order or whatever. So then, Andy talks with the stripper, who says that he has a mark, and it's going to be Charles. Charles came up in there doing what he normally does. He's cruising for some stripper to show him a good time. Andy's not really with it, but you go on to do what you need to do. At least for now. So, Rain ends up calling Kimmy and tells Kimmy that Angel is gone, and that Horace is the one that gave the hit. Of course, immediately Kimmy freaks out and she says, "We gotta go." See what I told you? Something's up. And Kimmy's like, "There's no other choice because you know how crazy Horace was about Angel. So why do you think that he would not do something to us? He don't care about us." Now, Horace is in the hospital and talking with the doctor. We get an update on his health, stating that his cancer has progressed and moving really, really quickly. And he's got weeks, maybe a month or two left of life. But at this point, Horace wants to live more than he's ever had before. He ends up showing her what Sylvie gave her as far as these different remedies. The doctor says, I told you this some time ago. Horace said, "I must have not heard you." She said, "Oh, you heard me. It's just that you weren't interested in living at that point." This is like Western medicine, so they are more, she's not really familiar with it, but there has been some success rate from it. You can travel to Italy or someplace else, but Italy is probably the fastest place to get you the help that you need. And of course, Horace sets a play because now he wants to live. Do you think Horace is going to live? Because I honestly don't want him to die. Not yet. I mean, we need Kimmy, and we don't need her back in the club. So hopefully that's not something to remove her from. I don't know. So, Kimmy goes into Sylvie's room. She's ready to pack up Sylvie and go, but then she's watching Sylvie sleep, and she's like, "I don't know what to do. I know we got to get up out of here, but I just don't want to uproot her right now. She's just so peaceful." And then she feels bad because she's talking to Rain at the same time on the phone. Like, I keep putting her in some ish. Kimmy directs Rain to ask Alex about getting the car, because they're going to use the car to get up out of there. So, this is the continuation of Miss Olivia with her drunk tale. All of a sudden, she blows up at her boyfriend and calls him a fake arse. Oh, wait. Oh, she blows up and she runs into Mallory and Barney. Ends up telling Mallory that she's a fake ass, laughing at my age. And then she tells off her boyfriend, "You ain't ish. and find your own way back home. We learned that Olivia bought him that car. I said, okay. So the only way that I guess there's many people out there that can be bought with a price. Then she goes off even further. Don't knock on my door unless I call you. I said, you just tore this man down, and now saying don't call you. I'm taking away your car, and now don't call me unless I call you. I said, Lord Jesus. Crazy. Olivia tells Varney to take her home, and Mallory said, we'll take you home. And she's like, well, you live in Indiana. Varney, where you live? In Chicago. What, the city? Well, I think they said the city. The city, Chicago? Yeah. And he is going to take you all the way to Indiana? Yeah. Next thing she says, y'all ucking. Oh, Lord. So in the car, Rain, well, Alex first offers his condolences towards Rain about Angel. What do I need? Rain switches up the conversation and says, what do I need to do to go for a drive by myself? And Alex said, well, that doesn't really happen. And even driving off the premises, there's a bunch of people you got to get through first. So Rain said, it's a prison. We're stuck. Rain does ask Alex, why did Horace give the hit out on Angel? Alex says that he doesn't know. So finally, Kimmy wakes up Sylvia and says, we got to go. And Sylvia's like, what are we doing? We just seem to be running all of the time. And Kimmy said, look, we're in danger right now. We can't be around here with Horace. He's not who you think that you are, and still who you think that he is. And Sylvia was like, well, Horace is not going to hurt us. Da-da-da-da-da. And Kimmy says, you don't know anything about this life. And Sylvia was like, well, how will I know if you won't tell me? So at this point, Kimmy sits down and she tells her everything. I don't know why you did that. Not for real. But she went to the whole thing, from the process of when her mama kicked her out and dropped her off to present time as to what's going on. She tells Sylvie that Horace had Angel killed. At this point, Sylvie's more in the mood to get up and get up out of there. And Kimmy said, we got to go. Pack as little as you can. Jules and Traxon. I believe whichever one called either one. I don't know who. But Traxon tells him about Giovanni. And Jules says, look into him. Jules ends up calling Norman because they are outside of Harold's home. Jules says that after what you just did, you better hope this clears everything up. Norman tells him, he also tells him about the whole Giovanni situation. Jules does. And Norman tells him to persuade Giovanni to stay out of the way. Just mind your business. I'll put that little spin on there. We're back in the hospital. Horace wakes up and he sees Angel. He says, Horace says, am I dead? I just seen an angel. You really are an angel. Horace starts to confess, stating, I just had you killed. And Angel was like, what? And then Horace wanted to play like he didn't know what he was talking about, da-da-da-da-da. And Angel was on his tail in regards to all that. Well, Horace ended up saying, well, how are you still alive? And Angel ended up telling him, look, at the bus stop, there was this ambush. However, there were people beside me, and they ended up falling back on me, and I ended up playing dead. I said, that's clever. So Angel is somebody who's from the streets, and he knows how to deal with what's ahead of him. So he's quite smart. Angel's ready to go because he needs something done for his child and baby mama at this point. And he's ready to go, but Horace says, stay with me, or you will be dead. because he's got to figure out what needs to happen in order to make sure everything's all right. Because you are supposed to be dead right now in regards to that hit I put out there. And Angel said, what about my son and baby mama? Horace said that he'll take care of that, but stay here. Varney, Olivia, and Mallory. Now they're in the car, and they're taking Miss Olivia home. Olivia's talking to Varney, just saying, you know, I wish my son turned out to be like you. But he's gay. Doing all that nasty ish. I said, Lord Jesus. If you only knew. Mallory wanted to change the subject quick, so she said, how's the church? Oh, you trying to be funny, Olivia said. No, I'm not trying to be funny. Da, 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 da. You see, Olivia says, I used to be just like you. Excuse me? I used to be just like you. But you just wait and see. Then they finally pull up to Olivia's home, and Olivia tells Barney to help her in, like a gentleman. So they couldn't open the door because it was too dark out there. Varney didn't know what key, and she didn't know because she was quite drunk. They go to the back of the house and they're able to get in. And Varney was like, okay, have a good night, you're in. And she said, no. A gentleman, you help me all the way in. So basically, he assists her all the way to the living room. And now she wants to have a drink with him. Just stay here for a little while. Basically, her agenda is to smash Varney. And this is what I believe. I believe that she faked her fight with her boyfriend because she already had a target in Varney. And she was going to get it, whatever. She asked, how tall are you? He said he was 6'5". And she said, well, does the, what is it? Do the carpet match the drapes? Basically, how big are you? Are you as big as you, as your height, as far as your anatomy? Laura, she was going in there and she was not going to let him go. Mallory ends up rescuing Varney. And of course, Olivia's pissed. As they're walking out the door, Olivia yells at Mallory, you think I don't know who you are, but I know who you are. Lord. Oh. Now this part really pisses me off because I find this to be very ridiculous. Charles and the stripper. The stripper's trying to come on to Charles. And he said, well, why all of a sudden you talking to me after all this time of being in this club? He says, well, look, I was going to rob you. And then I thought, well, maybe we could help each other out. I do something for you, you do something for me. And then he ends up handing out a certain brand of drugs. And it's from Colombia. And Charles was at this point of, okay, let's go to the bathroom, but you're going to sniff it first before I do it. Because Charles was skeptical. I will say this, I think this is so dumb. If the last person that you were with in the club was trying to rob you, why in the world are you letting all these people in your house? I don't get that. And then this person says that they were going to do the same thing that was already tried to be done on you. No. If anything, we're going to a hotel first before we ever think about coming to my house. We're going to a hotel. We can do what we need to do there. Simple for me. Alex and Rain, they return back to the house, and Rain is trying to get Kimmy to calm down a little bit. Are you sure that we need to do this? She said, yeah, da. And she ended up letting Rain know that she told Sylvie everything. And then Kimmy's like, hurry up, we need to go. And Rain was like, hold on a second, I'm trying to be there for your sister right now. Da. Of course, the first car that they're in is not really available, but we can take one of the cars within the garage. The keys are in the car. Anyways, they go outside and still take the normal car and just tells the driver, F you, and we're going to go. And demanded that the gates be opened right away. So, of course, Kimmy, Rain, and Sylvia are in the car. They're driving just a little bit outside of the gate, and then next thing you know, they're seeing this truck with or a vehicle with headlights, and they swerve and go into a ditch. I think, did I? Then next thing you know, Horace approaches the car and wondering where they are going. I said, oh Lord, let's see how this is going to go. Do you think Horace is going to snap out? And Olivia, you are something else. Something else. So, of course, Angel's alive, and Horace is still going to take care of him. And all he had to do was dance for him a couple times and didn't even have to do anything really sexual with him. I said, Lord Jesus. But anyways, tell me what you thought of this episode. Let me know. Like this video, and you can also subscribe. I will have the rest of the episodes up this week. I'm trying to get 5 and 6 up on Monday, and Tuesday I'll have 9 and 10. Or what Monday? 7 and 8. Sorry. So you can have the finale by Tuesday. So that's the plan. So pray that I get all this done. But again, I appreciate you for coming to my channel, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.